Welcome to Culture on Tap. We are a podcast that is about bridging the cultural gap, one conversation at a time. We have myself, Xavier Bright. We have Dale Young and Range Armentar, but we also have a special guest today, who is Eric Hudson. We are going to put him on the hot seat. Yeah. But if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share on anywhere where you listen to or watch podcasts, and make sure to hit the bell so that you get the notifications whenever we have new content coming out so that you can tap in with us. And obviously, Dale is not in front of the camera. He is behind the camera, but we're still going to do Fun Facts with Range.
All right.
What we got?
So the day's question, and we can all answer it because Eric is in town from Colorado. What is the greatest award you received while you were in school? Of any grade. We're going to let Range go last.
Yes. Greatest award. I got like A honor roll, like 6 years in a row or something like that.
Oh, wow.
before I started wilding out a little bit. That's it.
So hold up, you call it A honor roll,
Yeah.
not banner roll?
Banner roll? What is that?
I've actually heard
That's
banner roll, but
all A's.
yeah.
Which I that wasn't me. I wasn't that guy. But
It was either A honor roll or AB honor roll for us.
see, so for us it was banner roll was all A's and honor roll was A's and B's.
Oh no, I think here it was all honor rolls, which I didn't get that either. For me, it was perfect attendance. Perfect attendance, because I didn't care if I was sick. My dad was making me go to school. Yeah. So you're going to school. I never missed.
First disclaimer, I have never heard of banner roll. Like, that's new. Mine would probably have to be something in sports because it definitely wasn't nothing academic
in the
at that
classroom.
time. And I did not have perfect attendance either. I was skipping school quite often. So, Range, what was your greatest reward in school?
I mean, you say that it was my greatest. I didn't think it was a greatest, but it just happened. I mean, I was inducted or part of or whatever.
Inducted.
I feel Hall of Fame coming.
I know.
There was a whole ceremony and everything into the National Honor Society. Also, I was also a part
How?
of.
No, we're not just going to breeze over that.
I don't remember exactly what it was called. Part of what's it called? Like Who's Who Among American Students or something like that.
Is that because they didn't know you?
Who's Who of American? Okay, so first off, how do they pick that? Like, is this something that's national?
Let me tell you how this happened, because it actually happened to me when I was in school. No, I got a letter saying that with the Who's Who thing, National Honor Society, all this kind of stuff for Eric Hudson. Come to find out, there was actually another kid named Eric Hudson that was a grade higher than me. Apparently, he wasn't getting his awards. But it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine.
But I'm pretty sure there's not another Range Armentar.
That can be the only justification for this. I mean,
How do you? Because correct me. Y'all feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, we will.
National Honor Society you're like academically up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a scholar thing.
Yeah.
You didn't take history and biology.
Nor was I making banner roll. So I'm not real sure how it happened. I just know it happened.
There's an asterisk somewhere.
Yeah. There's got to be. This is like, Barry Bonds with PEDs, like there's.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I know. Eric and Dale know what I mean.
I know what that is.
Wow.
So I'll give you a little really interesting nugget that embarrassed the mess out of me. So I'm assuming everybody that's Range might not have, but you know how when you're graduating they have the rehearsal where you walk across stage and all?
Yeah.
So we get there. Again, I didn't make honor roll, banner roll, any kind of roll. I rolled some stuff, but I didn't do the other. So because it goes, as y'all know, like valedictorian, high honors, honor roll, then alphabet. Well, I'm a young, so I'm going last. Like, and we're walking up and they're telling us our seat, and they're like, "Oh, Dale, you're in seat 27," and I'm like, "Our class is like over 500." I'm like, 27. They're like, "Yeah, you're in high honor roll," and I'm like, "I know I'm not," but I'm like, "Oh, I ain't telling you."
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm up there. So we do the practice, right? The graduation's fixing to start. My principal looks out and sees me and goes, "Wait a minute, you aren't in the right spot." And I was like,
calls you out?
You ain't have to do me like that,
In
bro.
front of everybody.
Like, you could have whispered into my ear. I'd have moved back real quiet. Like, you did not have to make me feel that way.
So what was the mix-up?
I don't know.
Actually, they were thinking, if we don't get him out here fast,
That's probably true.
he's probably going to stick
I'm
around.
thinking this is would be what happened with him, and they just didn't call him out. Because I don't understand. Like, everybody I know that's National Honor Society was like top of the class.
Yeah.
And there you are.
Reigns, Arm,
Well, let me just tell you,
I was top of the class too.
Top of what class?
He's Armentar.
So they accidentally put you in there just because of your last name.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I really don't know how I was just as surprised whenever I was told.
I'll be, but you didn't make any. He was like, hey, you know, I'm just gonna roll with it.
I'm just gonna roll with
National
it.
Honor Society.
Mom was happy. Mom was proud. So, hey, we'll go with it.
A regional honor society or district
District,
honor society.
national, all the way.
National.
Oh, well, that was definitely a
Something.
fun fact. But as I said yesterday, and as I said before we got started, we have our brother, friend, Eric Hudson in town, and he is the first guest
Hey, I'm excited.
of Culture on Tap, and it only
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it only makes sense that
Yeah.
our brother would be the first guest from Colorado. So we're gonna put you on the hot seat.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you questions just to get to know you, hence the title of the episode.
Yeah.
Get to know Eric. So the first one is what we asked myself, Dale, Range. Who is Eric Hudson?
You know, I'll be honest with you. That is a hard question.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize it seems like just a little simple question, but
Yeah.
who is Eric Hudson? Well, actually, I used to live here. I used to live here in Houston for most of my life. I was actually born in Kentucky. I was a military brat. I was born in Kentucky. And here's this part of my life sucks. Is my brother. We're both military brats, but my brother was born in Hawaii. I got Kentucky.
You got Kentucky.
I got my motherland is Kentucky. No, but I lived most of my life here in Houston. It's where I met my wife. I spent a lot of years as in law enforcement here locally. And but if you had to ask me who I am, I'll be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure that out. Still trying to figure this whole who am I?
Yeah,
And I feel like it's a daily thing.
absolutely.
So I can't really just say, but I will tell you that I'm a husband.
Yeah,
I'm a father.
yeah,
I'm a friend, and probably most importantly, I'm a child of God.
yeah.
And so that's probably about
Yeah.
it in a nutshell. But I'm still trying to figure.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure this thing out. Even though if I live to 100, I'm halfway through life.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
No, and it's funny that you say that because I remember like my favorite thing to speak on, to talk about is identity.
Yeah.
And I remember I asked myself that first. I'm like, who am I? Because usually whenever you ask somebody who they are, they lead off with what they do. But
Yeah.
that's not the question. I didn't ask you what you do. Who are you? And I couldn't answer that like easily. So I'm like, man, I need to figure this out. Obviously, I know the right answers to say, but does this make me who I am? And I remember Dale and I were talking to somebody, and it was the first time I asked somebody outside of myself, who are you? And it was a struggle for him because it seems so simple, but it's so profound.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's a simple question, but it's so profound. And I remember asking this person that, and they were telling me what they do, and I'm like, no, I didn't ask you what you do. Who are you? So now it's just a universal thing with everybody who's close to me or around me. They know that I'm going to ask that question, and it's like it's a tough question, but it's so simple.
It's tough because also and I also have the privilege of leading worship for Celebrate Recovery on Fridays. And so these are people that have addictions, afflictions, and different things in their lives that are coming from a very, very dark place in their lives. And I constantly have to remind them that who you were, doesn't determine who you are.
Yeah.
And I even Dale, if you were to ask Dale, I know his past, but who the Dale I know now, that's not the old Dale from the past.
Right.
So, and if you ask me, I'm not the same person from the past. So it's a continual, it's a live fluid thing.
Not the same person from a year ago.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So it's a very interesting and tough question to ask, but it's so simple.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is one thing that our Culture on Tap audience should know about you?
I'll tell you, there's and I don't want to. I guess I don't want to do the whole keep it all biblical. But but God's a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And that I definitely love my Lord. I love my Lord and Savior, and I'm broken.
Yeah.
Like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I have the privilege of getting to stand before people on a weekly basis, and I have the opportunity to share gospel with people, whether through music or just speaking.
Yeah.
And I'm a broken man.
Yeah.
And it's a daily struggle.
Yeah.
But I do seek the Father's wisdom. But I have great friends around me.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful and lovely family and a beautiful wife who supports me. And I'm truly blessed.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. You're definitely for our Culture on Tapians. Eric is an amazing worship leader. And I think one of the things that drew me to joining in with you in worship is that you weren't performing, right? Like it was like, and that's why I say joining in with you, because you are amazing at leading people to the feet of Jesus and not to you.
I appreciate that.
And I'm not. The reality is that we live in a culture now where people get on the altar, the platform, and it is a concert and it is a performance.
Yeah.
Whereas one of the things that I love is that whenever you're up there leading people into worship, you're actually leading us into worship, and you're leading us to the feet of the Father so that we can respond to the word correctly that's coming up behind you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just a little tidbit. I know this is get to know you, but that's part of getting to know Eric is he's an amazing worship leader because he actually leads people into worship and not just to listen to you and
not just sing a
how
song.
great Eric is. It's like, no, we're coming to the Father.
And I would say, and I appreciate that. It's when it comes to worship, if you really want to know who I am, then come join a service and see me lead worship.
Yeah.
And I don't say that again to see me, but that's probably when I'm at my most vulnerable. Very intimate.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity, one of those rare opportunities that I get. And I actually have these experiences when I'm preparing to lead worship throughout the week. And I'll sit in my room and I have just me and a guitar and my music, and I will be engaged in worship to the point where I'm just bawling.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that doesn't change is how amazing our God is.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm sitting here getting to play an instrument that He gave me the gift to do and the talents to play this guitar and to get to have my voice out there to speak on His behalf, to share.
Yeah.
I'm just awe-inspired.
Yeah.
And so that's my most vulnerable. But I always tell people, especially who are going to audition to become on the worship team, is that when you're going to engage in worship in any kind, if you will just do worship like you're standing, and that includes anybody who's out in the congregation as well. If you were just standing there, because we never know when it's coming back.
Yeah.
But if you stand there and you engage in worship like you're standing right there in front of the Father and you're singing it to Him, it will change everything.
Yeah.
It'll change your posture.
Yeah.
It'll change your heart. And my prayer is that one day God takes me right in the middle of worship, and I'll be engaged right there, and He'll say, "Good job.
Well done.
Well done."
Yeah. Yeah. I remember whenever you were struggling with your carpal tunnel, and it was hard for you to play the guitar, and we were talking on the phone, and you was like, it sucks because this is how I worship. This is how I praise the Lord. But the reality is that my voice isn't gone. And you said, as long as I can sing to the Father, that's all I need, even though it's hard for me to, And
I'll be honest with you, and we talk about that. And I've learned something since then, Xavier, is that there was one Sunday I was asked to lead at a church I'd never been at before. And I went a week before, and I went and watched their service, and these people were standing there. And I'll have to say this, and not to say this is about all Baptist church, but it happened to be a Baptist church. Mm-hmm. And so I went and visited the congregation. They had their hands straight down. Worship was going on, hands straight down. There was no movement at all. The next week, I'm leading, and I wanted to see what they're about, because I wanted to make sure I could fit in. Mm-hmm. So I get there, and the day before I'm supposed to lead worship, I lost my voice. 100% lost my voice. And I decided to go ahead and I'm going to lead worship. And went up there, and I explained to the congregation that I lost my voice. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to need your help. I need you to help me lead worship. And so I got up there, and I was playing, and I was spitting out as many words as I possibly could. But all of a sudden, the congregation started leading worship.
Wow.
And hands went up in the air. And I realized on that day that God didn't need my voice.
Yeah.
He needed my heart. And I led with my heart and didn't have my voice, but all it has was me and my guitar. And so the day I had my guitar, my voice failed me. God didn't fail me. He took control of the congregation, and they led worship. And when you truly lead worship, you have no choice but to express yourself. And when they were leading it, their hands went up in there, and I was like, that's worship.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. It's like the Lord has gifted you to do that, because it's not about you. Yeah. Your heart is to praise the Lord. And because if it was a matter of, and I'm coming to listen to Eric Hudson sing, if that would have been the case, then they would have been disappointed in the sense of, oh crap, his voice is gone. Like, well, let's leave, but the reality is that you actually lead people to the feet of Jesus, and it's just amazing. And it sucks that you're not here. You've been gone to Colorado for 7 years, but whenever you do,
7 years already, huh?
Whenever you do get to come back, it's always an amazing. Or we get to go up there and experience, what you're doing. Those different churches, it's always an amazing experience. Next question: what is something that most people don't know about you?
Well, most people who, I think most people don't realize the addiction I have for Disney. I mean, and that's one of the what's so great about this core group of our friends, is that they share the same addiction I have.
Yes. Half our conversations about Jesus, half our conversations about Disney.
Absolutely. And again, I'm not getting into the politics. I understand that there's some people out there that don't like Disney for obvious reasons, and I get it. I get it 100%.
For sure.
Because there are definitely things in every aspect of life that make me uncomfortable. But before all the craziness and stuff was going on, I fell in love with Disney, and the feelings that it gives me, and it's all about, for me, it makes me feel like a little kid again, and so that part is really nice. And most people actually don't. I asked my wife this, and I feel like most people don't understand that I have this thing for cars. Nice cars. I can't keep a car, bro. I've been in Colorado now for 7 years, and I've had just about as many cars. And they keep going. They're bougie. Okay, they're bougie cars. I've had.
You were trying to work yourself around it, but you just.
I was like, you know what? But I also recognize when I was little, we were poor. We were poor people. And I can remember, I can still remember living in the house that had the holes in the floor, and hearing the rat trap going off in the middle of the night, and the thumping of that rat trap going off behind the refrigerator. I can remember, when all the kids were wearing designer shoes, and, and I'm gonna date myself now, because I remember whenever parachute pants came out, and, everybody was wearing the cool parachute pants or something, and my mom, bless her heart, and my parents always tried. I love my parents because they always tried. It wasn't because for lack of trying, but lack of resources kept us from, my brother and I, from having nice things.
Yeah,
And so, it was always hand-me-downs. It was always, secondhand store kind of clothes. Never had the nice things. And so I always said if that one day that would change.
Yeah.
And, but having said that, I get about as much out of that as I love giving it away.
Yes.
I love giving it away.
Yes.
I love sharing and being able to bless other people with things that, because I understand. And for me, there's absolutely nothing better than to know that something that I've been blessed with can also bless other people.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's
Definitely not a hoarder in, how the Lord's been blessing you.
And he continues to bless me.
Yeah. So that is definitely much appreciated. Because, our fan group definitely benefits from you giving.
And it goes both ways because, because we love you guys so much, all of y'all and your families so much. And, and we're talking about is Disney, getting to go to Disney together and sharing our vacation color points. But it's not the same, Meredith and I have gone by ourselves, but man, there's something about being able to just spend this time together with our friends.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing. Yeah. So we love that.
Yeah. Lauren and I spent a lot of times. We went last year for our 10-year anniversary, and we spent most of our time talking like, oh yeah, when we were here, this is what happened with our friend group or this, so it's definitely, we make memories.
Absolutely.
By vacationing together.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that you can have natural talent in, what would it be and why?
Hands down, being able to play the piano. Yeah, absolutely. There was a time in my life that I could play the piano because I'm naturally a percussionist. I play drums. But all the times that it was kind of forced upon me to learn.
Right.
I didn't, and I know how to read piano music. I know where all the notes on it, but I'm not a natural piano player. I probably could get there if I had the time to do it.
Right.
But I would love to have just another way to be able to lead worship. And I love the fact that I can play guitar, but I just wish I could probably play piano.
Yeah.
That's,
yeah.
And I wish I had a prettier voice, but that's, I do with what God gave me.
Yeah, for sure. What's something that you used to hate that you now like or think is cool?
Here's a fun fact. It's funny. I hated California for a long time.
Why?
Yeah, it's weird. I hated California because of earthquakes. The first time, and because I grew up in the town. I think it was 1994. I think it was when they had the great big one that the roads collapsed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, who would ever live? Who would ever even go there? I mean, I'm watching cars get crushed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is just, why would anybody live there? And when we had the opportunity to go to Disneyland, I was like, absolutely not. We've got Disney World that's over here. Of course, I didn't know it's probably on sinkholes.
Yeah.
But but it's, why would I ever want to go to California and put my family or myself at risk for that until I went? I went. And bro, I tell you, I could probably move to California. It's crazy. It's expensive. It's all this thing. But man, it is absolutely beautiful. The people that I've met there are different, but they're different in a beautiful way. Disneyland is just amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I get all the feels when I'm there, and there's something about when you get there and you see all the palm trees and all these. I'm just like, oh man, it's so good. So that's one thing. The other thing is seafood. And I know you can't have seafood. But I grew up, there was no way. I hated seafood. Absolutely hated it. But now I'll eat just about anything. I had just about a month ago, for the first time ever in my life, I had a raw oyster. So this is somebody who doesn't even, I didn't like any kind of seafood at all. I didn't like fried fish, anything. But no, now I absolutely love it. I had a
raw.
I had a raw oyster. They in Nolans of all of them. They set it up right. They got that thing and put the lime on it or put the lemon on it and put all the stuff on it. And I just down the hatch and I wanted more. I was like, it was so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, you're getting allergic just looking at you.
Exactly.
You're having a reaction.
Exactly. One book that you would recommend outside of the Bible.
One book. I'd be honest, I don't read. If it's not in a movie, I probably. But I will say this: a book that I would select would be "Oh, the Places You Will Go" by Dr. Seuss.
That's a good one.
That's a good because I love to travel.
Yeah,
and I think this book talks about it talks about what to expect as you get older and you travel through life and all this. Yeah. It's a kid's book, but you know what? Sometimes it's good to remember. God specifically talks about. Sometimes you got to have the heart of a child.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think maybe that's why I like Disney so much.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes that just going back to being a kid again.
Yeah.
I was always a big fan of Dr. Seuss.
That's funny that you said that book because Jessica put it in Drake and Ryder's backpack this morning for their teachers to sign before they
awesome.
get done with school.
That's awesome.
She's had their daycare teachers do it, and now pre-K, and then she'll continue on. So that's
that's
funny
pretty
that
neat.
you said that.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That's awesome. That's a good selection.
You like that one?
There's so many messages.
Yeah.
In such a simple yet profound book. You know, going back to the original question.
There's something about things that rhyme that make it stick to your head a little bit,
Yeah, for sure. What's the most common misconception that people who don't know you well have of you?
I would probably have to say, and only because I feel like I've been told this, is that sometimes I feel like people think that I'm unapproachable. And a lot of that has to do with just my size.
Yeah.
I think, and I carry myself in a way that is I would say I'm pretty confident.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that it's a real misconception because number one, I love people.
Yeah.
But I think all my years in law enforcement, the things I've done, having done SWAT, been undercover, having been involved in pretty much every aspect that you could possibly be in, I definitely tend to carry myself in a certain way where people would be intimidated to come up and talk to me and just approach me and think I'm not approachable. But I think that's probably the biggest misconception about me. But I think that once they finally, if they just come talk to me, and there's probably a good chance if you don't come talk to me, I'm going to come talk to you.
Right.
Because I just absolutely love to talk to people and I love to get to know people. So,
or invite them to your house without even really knowing them. I remember the first time we met, you invited me to your house, and I'm like, me and my family were harmless, but it was just like that was very forward. Like, you didn't even know us, and we're in your house, and you got to know us, so we fell in love with your family. Me and Caleb were outside for like an hour and a half playing basketball in y'all's backyard.
And that boy is now he just finished his second year of college.
Yeah, and he was small,
like in elementary school.
Right. He was small and little. Now he's bodybuilder and, looking at me, eye level, and his voice is deeper than mine.
He's still talking trash.
Lord, still talking trash, but he still can't beat me. Still can't beat me.
No, I've actually come to learn. And the fact is that I'm friends with Dale will let you know that I pretty much live anybody.
Speaking of, loving anybody, when do you feel most loved?
Pretty good leeway, wasn't it? I'll be honest, I always feel loved with you all. I always feel loved amongst my friends, and that is and I think, and y'all can all probably relate to this, is that's one of my favorite times when we're all together.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I probably feel it more than you guys because I'm away from it.
Right.
So I have that opportunity to step away.
Right.
And I have that opportunity to not receive that love.
Right.
From the world.
Yeah.
I've actually, and I'll be honest with you, and as much as I hate to say it, there have been times where I've had that opportunity, or I've not had the opportunity to be loved, even within a church. Because just because you go to church doesn't always mean that you're going to feel that love.
Right. Right.
And so when I come and get to be with you all and the Armentars and the Youngs and all of our family, even the Emmett Church family. Yeah. It's always a great opportunity to feel loved. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, my wife is wonderful at showing me love every day. Yeah. But there's no love like the unconditional love I get from Sophia. Sophia has special needs and autistic, about the mental capacity of maybe a 2-year-old, even though she's 10, almost 11. but her love is completely unconditional, and it doesn't matter when it is. I know whenever she goes, that means she wants to give me a kiss. Yes. And that means that she's coming in for the kiss. And she's going to let me know. But it's always on her terms. Yeah. But those kind of loves are, they're amazing.
Yeah, priceless.
Priceless.
Yeah. So, for sure. It's amazing. What do you think people appreciate about you most?
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think they appreciate my honesty.
Yeah, yeah.
They appreciate my honesty when I tell them something they want to hear. I think they also appreciate my consistency. I think there's something to be said about consistency in every, even if people I tell to come to the gym, they're like, how do you get so strong? And I was like, you know what? It's consistency. Yeah, you got to keep doing it. It's got to become a part of who you are. It's got to be a part of your life. And I think that has to do a lot with your character. I think that you've got to be consistent. I think that if you're actively seeking, and one thing I told my boys when they started to go through this thing called life, I said, hey, don't be afraid to just reach out and ask God, who is it that you created me to be? Mm-hmm. And would you show me those ways? Would you show me that way? Yeah. And I feel like I'm trying to even more so. Again, I'm 50 years old and I'm still growing every day. Yeah. And I'm still trying to figure this thing out. But I'm trying to be more consistent with who he created me to be. Yeah. And I think that's the key is that people like my consistency and I feel like I'm dependable. Yeah. I think I'll be there for anybody if they should call me. And sometimes that's to my own detriment. Sometimes it's okay to say no. Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. And I would definitely agree with what you said. You've already talked about Meredith a few times. Just because, that shows how much you love your wife. But what are your three favorite things about being married to Mare?
Number one, she keeps me grounded. She's the one person, no matter what, is that I know that she is only going to say what I need to hear. That she's never going to say anything that to hurt me. Yeah. Even though it may hurt me. Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay. Yeah. Because sometimes I need to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. We all do.
Yeah, absolutely. I will tell you this: my wife makes a lot more money than I do, being an amazing doctor, being an amazing dentist. But she also, and I want to say this right, she also understands and recognizes her place in the kingdom. Yeah. And she said, "Babe, wherever God calls you to go is where we're going." It has nothing to do with the amount of money that you're going to get paid, nothing like that. But wherever God calls you, that's where we're going. That's got to be first. And there's been times where I've been at churches not here, but in Colorado Springs, where she hasn't connected. It's easier for me to connect because of my role, being a leader, being a worship leader, and I've made friends a lot faster. And she'll see people that naturally that will flock to me because they see me up on stage and stuff like that. But and it hasn't always been easy for her. But she knows it's God calling me to be there at that point in time, even she's struggling. Yeah. So that's that hard. But she's always there. She's always there. I don't know how many of those I answered, but I could go.
That was two.
I could go on and on.
Yeah. One more.
When I first, I'll be honest with you, and I don't even know if I'm going to answer the question right, but I knew I loved my wife a lot longer before she knew it. Because our families kind of grew up together and knowing each other. Okay. And I knew early on in life that she was going to be the one. And it seemed like we always just missed that opportunity because when I'd be dating somebody and she'd be free, and by the time when I became free, it would switch. Right. And so and then I got to the point where I was thinking she was not obtainable for me because I also knew the level of how smart she was. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to achieve that. But if it weren't for her, I don't believe I would. Actually, I don't believe I'd be anywhere where I'm at right now. And she made me believe myself.
Oh.
And she's the one. And I realized that in order to keep somebody like her, I'm gonna have to do something pretty amazing with my life. And ultimately, that brought out the best of me.
Oh.
She made me realize that I do have it within myself. I do have these great things that had been hidden deep inside that nobody ever pulled out within me. So she pulled the best out of me and showed me that it's attainable, and so, yeah.
And it's funny because, well, not funny, but interesting. I can tell how much you have so much adoration for her, because whenever I asked you that question, your whole tone, body language changed. And it was like this tender, like talking about your wife and how much you love her. It was just a complete shift. Like not like weak or anything, but it was just like this, man, I can talk about my wife all day type of posture. And it was just this softer, like this meekness that went over you in explaining your favorite things about your wife. Yeah.
It's I'll be honest, it scares me. It scares me in the sense that, what happens if, in both ways, I'm scared what happens. What if God takes me home first?
Yeah.
But even more scared, what do I do if God takes her home first?
Yeah.
How do I make it?
Yeah.
How am I gonna? Because, that's my ride or die. Yeah. That's my, that's she's my, person. And we talk about, because it's biblical, we want our kids out of our house sooner than later. But I love her so much, and I love the time that we get to spend together, that sometimes she and I just sitting around doing nothing and just hanging out. Absolute best times. Where we get to take a trip together. Yeah. We love taking our trips with our friends, but we also love those times where we can just be together
alone. Right.
And I like the idea of just us growing old together, just holding hands and just being able to just talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's just nothing like it.
Right. Yeah. Like my wife and I, we work out early in the morning together.
Yeah.
We just sit down and we just love being with each other. Like, it's just like, obviously we're human, so I annoy her, she annoys me, but it's like, well, I don't annoy her because I'm great.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I'm kidding. But like, it's just enjoying each other, because that's my person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And again, and we're not perfect by any means.
Right.
I mean, we have our share of fights, and they're all my fault. Guarantee it. At least 99.999% of the time, it's usually my fault, because I am stubborn, I am hard-headed, and I like things to go my way. Or, that's it. I like them to go my way. And but when we make it through those tribulations, and sometimes there'll be there's that uncomfortableness of not seeing eye to eye, and there's a couple days afterwards where the communication isn't where it's supposed to be. But when we find that tender spot again, and we're in that real sweet love part of it again, where we enjoy each other, there's nothing like that. Not that I look forward to the next fight.
Right.
Nor does she. Yeah. But I do actually. I remember your wife said something last week. Is that you may win the fight, but you probably, what she said, but you probably. You're probably going to lose along the way.
Yeah, she said something brilliant.
Something like that. But there was truth to that, and I can relate to what she said, because there's no fight that's worth winning.
Right.
There's no fight that's worth the time that we just lost.
Right.
To prove that I was right when I probably wasn't in the first place.
Right.
That's when pride sets in. That's a whole other issue.
That's a whole other topic.
But anyway,
sure.
I love her.
For sure. Absolutely. We all love her. Who are 3 people, dead or alive, that you would love to have dinner with?
Oh. Let's see. I'm sure Walt's already come up in this group a couple times.
I think I brought him up. Did you bring him up?
I don't remember. I think all three of us previously might have already had.
Yeah, I mean that's a given.
Yeah,
we should probably
just drop it down to 2 and that one.
I'll be honest. Here's my and man, I hope I don't pay for this one in heaven, but I don't know that I'd want to eat with Jesus because he always just brought bread, and I'm just like, Jesus, I don't know, man. The Last Supper, as much as I appreciate it and I understand the Last Supper, and I love it for him coming to this earth and dying for my sins. It's like, man, I got to have a little bit more than bread.
Can we have something else besides the bread?
I don't. Some manna from heaven. Some manna from heaven. I'm like, oh, but he did make some top shelf wine. So
is this Olive Garden?
That one is. Oh goodness. I didn't even think this one through. You believe that? I would definitely say Walt. I think I would. I don't know why I've always been fascinated. I think I would like to sit and talk with Abraham Lincoln. And ask him what. And just ask him how hard that was during that time period of trying to make these radical changes that he was making.
Yeah.
And I definitely know that I would love to have sat and just picked the brain of Martin Luther King. Just because he was just another man before his time, and
courage that it took.
Yeah, that courage. Like I like to think I'm brave now, but it's when you have at least half the world against you, if not more.
Yeah. There's a poll, who's the most hated man? I think it was like 1967, 1968. Who's the most hated man in all of America? And he was number one.
Yeah.
So just crazy.
In the courage, but he that is from another level. That is, in my opinion, that is God speaking through him.
Yeah.
It had to be said. And we still need to hear it today.
Yeah.
And again, it's another whole topic. Are we heading in the right direction? I hope so.
Yeah.
Because I sure hope to think that I hate to think we're going in the wrong direction.
Right.
We've already been down that path.
Right.
But what a courageous man. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Walt Disney, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King. I like it. Some Titans. 3 bucket list items.
I want to go to Norway. I really want to go down.
We've been to Norway. We've
right.
We've already been.
Well, that takes out everything of that. That takes up my whole list, all the places I want to go.
That's funny. One of my salesmen just got back from a trip to Norway.
Oh, really?
And he said it was completely amazing, beautiful, wonderful.
It is
awesome.
Well, and it actually knocks out 2. And mainly the reasons I want to go to Norway is for 2 reasons. I really want to go, and I like the word. I just want to say fjords. I want to be able to. I want to take a boat down the fjords. And that's actually
it's one of your favorite words to say.
Christmas in the fjords, which are the caverns, going between the mountains.
Yeah.
But I also want to see. I want to see the the lights, the northern
lights. Yeah,
I really, really, really want to see that.
I think I said that. Not from Norway, but just somewhere.
Yeah, just somewhere you can see it.
Yeah.
Another one, and mine probably all involve traveling because that's just what I want to do. But I would love, and we've had the opportunity many years ago before all these changes. But I'd love to go to Egypt. I'd love to go to Egypt and see some of the pyramids. And just some of those things. So that's
a good one.
Yeah,
that's an amazing one. Just how they did what they did with the limited resources. That they had is just simply amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. For those of you who don't know, in Epcot, one of the countries is Norway.
And it's almost like you're there.
And we love
Norway.
That's why I said we've already been, because we've experienced breakfast there. We experienced an amazing attraction in Frozen Ever After there, and they have great restrooms.
And Range and I got some awesome cologne there.
Oh, yeah.
Great cologne with a perfect little travel overnight bag to hold the cologne.
Yeah.
Norway's awesome.
We smell like Vikings when we spray it on.
That's a good fun fact.
That's a fun fact.
I'm basically a Viking.
Basically. Basically. Yeah. Oh, man, but this was great. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And he's going to be with us for at least another 3 weeks. So, you get to hear a lot more from Eric, just his perspective, life experiences, and things of that nature. Before we close out, I just want to tell you that I love you.
I love you, brother.
I appreciate everything about you. There are only a few men in my life who they can say something, and I'm going to take it to heart in the sense of you're not just going to tell me something that you don't mean, and that's not important. So I appreciate you. You're not just a friend, you're a brother. In many ways, a mentor, because heck, you old enough to, be my dad, but we're friends, and you don't treat me like I'm a child. You respect me, in a way that is just amazing. And you listen to me. There's been many a times where, we've called, whether it's, things that, and y'all are going to hear this in later episodes, whether it be things that happen in the media with law enforcement and things of that nature. And I'm just asking you questions, but then you're asking me questions. And it's just an amazing dynamic to where it's not just we go on vacation together.
Right.
And even though you're in Colorado, we do life together. And I just appreciate you. And I love you, and I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for your family. I'm thankful for what you've done and what you've taught me and my family. And you are just an amazing person, and I just love you.
I love you, my brother.
Yeah. So
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So this has been Culture on Tap. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Eric. Like I said, he's going to be here for another 3 weeks, so make sure you tap in and listen to those conversations. It's going to be great. Thanks for joining us. See you guys next time. Culture on Tap is sponsored by Houston Radio Platinum, playing the best classic hits. You can download the Houston Radio Platinum app. It's in your app store, or just ask Alexa to play Houston Radio Platinum.